Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my first impressions on the Monochrome Manga Club selections for July. So the Monochrome Manga Club is an in real life manga club that I host where we're reading 2 first in a series selections, and we're currently doing 2 full series reads. Just want to remind you that if you do want to join us in our reads for the month, you can definitely do so by commenting on videos like these or joining our Discord, which is linked in the description box below. So our selections for the month of July were Volume 1 of Purgatory Funeral Cakes. This is by Sanho, published by Dark Horse. I would say that the age rating on this, after reading it, is probably around teen. And then we also read Volume 1 of Shinobi Undercover. This one is published by Viz, and it's by Ippon Takiguchi with art by Santa Mitarashi. The rating on that one is also teen. As for series reads, we are currently reading Dr. Stone, and we read volumes 16 and 17. This one is by Reiichiro Inagaki with art by Boichi, published by Viz, rated teen. And then we are also reading Land of the Lustrous, so we read volume 6. This is by Haruko Ichikawa, published by Kodansha, rated teen. As we are not at the beginning of Land of the Lustrous or Dr. Stone, I will not be sharing my thoughts with you on those volumes. However, if you're interested in hearing what I'm thinking of those series, you can check out my manga log for the month, which will be posted at a later date. So let's go ahead and start off with my thoughts on Purgatory Funeral Cakes. So this one has like short stories about this cake maker who does funeral cakes. So it talks about the lore of when a person passes, their spirit walks through purgatory, and they have like 7 weeks or 49 days to pass through purgatory in order to be reincarnated. And while they're journeying, they need food to sustain themselves. And so the baker sells these cakes as a remembrance for the person who's living, but also for the spirit of the deceased to take with them on their journey to being reincarnated. And so in this one, we have 2 stories. We have a story about a woman who is ordering a cake for a friend that has passed recently. And then we have another story about a girl who orders a cake for her mom who had passed recently. Now this is set in a supernatural place. So like the first story about the woman ordering a cake for her friend that's recently passed, that friend has a third eye. And the girl who orders a cake for her mom is a vampire. And our baker also has an assistant who is a ghost, and it is this entity here. And so we get the stories about the people who have passed as told by their loved ones, the people that they left behind, to give inspiration to the baker in order to make the cakes. And then we see the baker make the cake and the techniques that they decide to use, the ingredients that they decide to use, and how they actually bake the cakes for these customers. And I thought it was really interesting. Now, definitely this is something that I wouldn't have immediately thought would be something that would be down my alley, though it does have supernatural elements to it. And that is something that I do quite enjoy reading about. But the reason I say this is not usually something that I'd be interested in is because it gets very emotional. We're talking about people who have lost people they really care for, and it's not something that I usually like to pick up. I don't like reading about grief. However, I felt like the story was written in a way that made the story have a lot of heart. You could still feel the grief of the characters, but you also had those elements, the creative elements about creating these cakes and how the baker does this service for people in mourning and the folklore that goes behind it and all of that. And so I really enjoyed that part. It kind of had that little bit of a feeling of like, what did you eat yesterday? And watching the characters in What Did You Eat Yesterday make the foods and talk about how they're making it, what ingredients they're using, the techniques that they're using is a part of what I really enjoy about that story. And this story also has that. And so I really enjoyed this. And at the end of this, it got quite emotional for me, I would say. I'm not one that usually tears up or even lets tears fall down my face while I'm reading. It's got to be something really impactful, or I've really got to connect to the characters or the story. I will say that I did feel my eyes filling up a little bit towards the end, but definitely a story that has a lot of heart. I'm really interested to see what happens in the next installment, and I'm looking forward to continuing. I will tell you that I found out that this series was available to borrow through Hoopla through my library. So if your library offers Hoopla, I would definitely check to see if this title is available for you there. Great way to borrow manga from your library, and a really, really interesting title. So I really enjoyed that one. And then we have Shinobi Undercover. This one is about a ninja who's very good at what he does, but he has social awkwardness. And so he ends up getting assigned to an undercover position at a high school. And his job is basically to protect this particular girl. And this girl is quite klutzy. And so he has a little bit of a difficult time because he kind of not only has to try to protect this girl, but there are other people from his agency that are also deployed to this school to also help to protect this girl. So it's him trying to work with them, trying to be undercover, but he's so awkward that he just comes off as very like standoffish. And when this girl like tries to talk to him, he like answers very bluntly, but for whatever reason it kind of endears him towards her. So like the plan of like protecting this girl and everything that the agency had decided was going to be the roles of the people trying to protect this girl has kind of gone out the window. But you see him kind of awkwardly trying to work through his day, and then obviously fending off the people who are trying to go after this girl during school hours. And so it is quite interesting. There is a lot of action, but there's also a lot of hilarity in the story, which I quite enjoy. I, as well as my daughter, also think that this one would be an interesting one to see as an anime. Because of the like fight scenes and all of the things that go into those fighting pages and things, I think it would be really interesting to see it animated. And there are a couple of times where they're fighting would-be assassins in this particular volume, and I quite enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. Like I said, there's a little bit of hilarity, especially because of this guy's social awkwardness, but there are other things that were a little funny as well. And so I'm really looking forward to continuing with this one. We did read it on the Shonen Jump app, and as of right now, I do think that's where I'm going to continue to read this one. It's not quite one that I feel like I need to have in my collection at this time, but I did really, really enjoy it. And so that is my thoughts on Shinobi Undercover. Really, really enjoyed both of the selections we had this month. Quite different from each other, but really interesting reads. And so I'm looking forward to continuing with both of those series. Now, before I let you go, I do want to let you know what we will be reading for the month of August. So in the month of August, we will obviously be continuing with Dr. Stone in volumes 18 and 19. We will also be continuing with Land of the Lustrous with volume 7. And then as for our first in the series, we're going to go ahead and read volume 1 of Merit and the Egyptian God. So this has art by Yukari Sakai, original story by Fusuyama, Egyptian cultural supervisor Yukimi Hashimoto. This one is published by Yam Press, rated teen. I'm really, really excited for this one. It says, my name is Merritt, and I found myself in a bit of a quandary. Namely, getting trapped in the underworld even though I'm very much alive. What's more, I ran into an actual god, Anubis, who has somehow become a good-for-nothing slouch, lazing around and shirking his duties. Alright, I suppose he's been cursed and wants nothing to do with humans, and as it turns out, maybe I'm the only one who can undo that curse. If I don't, I'll never get home. But I'm just a mortal girl. How can I hope to find my way into a god's heart? So this one looks really interesting. I do quite enjoy Egyptian mythology. I do quite like the art style. I think this is going to be super fun. There are more characters here on the back. And so, yeah, really, really looking forward to this one and checking that one out for the month of August with my club. And then we're also going to read the first volume of Bug Ego. So this is story by One and art by Kyoto Shitara. This one is published by Viz, rated older teen. So it says it's from the creator of One Punch Man, which I have not read. This says, Hitsujiya's life is forever changed when his high school friend Kokudo reveals the secret of hacks. By following specific instructions found in a mysterious notebook, he can alter reality itself. Kokudo and Hitsujiya experiment with the hacks and learn more about their strange nature. It's all fun and games at first, but when Kokudo uses the hack to go back in time, things take a dark turn. Hitsujiya attempts to do the same thing, but if a hack's directions aren't followed precisely, the results can be devastating. So I thought that sounded really interesting. I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. And so, yeah, definitely caught my daughter's eye as well. And so those are going to be our selections for August, and that'll pretty much wrap up this video. So let me know down in the comments below if you've read any of the titles that I've mentioned today, or if you're planning to join us in August selections. Like I said, you can either do that by commenting in the comment section of videos like these, or joining our Discord, where there are threads for every single volume that we've read during the existence of the manga club. So even if you're interested in chatting about something we've read before, there's probably a thread for you there. But yeah, you're definitely free to join us if you would like. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me some kind of bug for Bug Ego down in the comments below, it would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.